right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Game number 2. Kinguin versus Effect here, best of 3. So Kinguin up 1-0 on the verge, trying to sweep the series. We'll see if Effect can respond back here and take it to a third and final game. This is the SkinCoin WCA, again, third place matchup. What is our final matchup, though, of the event? The finals themselves, of course, were already played on Saturday. This game originally was supposed to be played last week even, but again, had to get rescheduled. That's why it's today, and looking forward to a continuing good match here. The first game was pretty fun. We'll see how Game 2 shapes up on BreakyCPK. Going to be joined by RobnRoll as my co-caster. RobnRoll, we got the draft underway. What do you think so far?
I like the Nyx Assassin pickup again. This roaming hero gets a couple of levels, can start you winning your multiple lanes. Could even be played in the off lane if that's where you want to be putting it, trying to get to that level 6 before it goes, and then starts roaming, looking for the kills with the Vendetta. Disruptor and Venomancer picked up by Effect. These are more standard heroes at the moment in the meta, I'd say. You've got the Ancient Apparition as well, being able to throw out that global Ice Blast with the Nyx Assassin. Could see that pairing up with potential for abundance of kills. Effect, now, again, I think they need to go for this more roaming position 4. This more standard, what the position 4 has become, this utility hero that's responsible for winning pretty much mid lane and either safe lane or off lane. You get these heroes, again, like the Night Stalker, you've got the Nyx Assassin that can do it, Spirit Breaker, Clockwork, Mirana, any hero that's effectively got a stun or anything that's got any control, like the Sand King is set up there as well, that can roam around, builds into the utility items. You've got the Urn for the extra damage that you can stack, the heals that can come out, Solar Crest for the extra right clicks from your carries, just for the extra damage as well. You've got the Dust if anyone goes invisible, like a Nyx Assassin, if you're going to try and make a gank on that. And it just becomes a lot more effective than sticking 2 heroes on the safe lane and saying, right, we're going to protect our position 1.
Yeah.
So the Sand King is a good pickup. I like the Sand King if they're going to be playing this in the position 4. You could even play it in the position 3 if that's what they want. But yeah, I do like that as a hero, just in those 2 roles.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, Sand King definitely already is bringing a lot better feel to the lineup of Effect. Again, the biggest stress last game was that the lack of just consistent lockdown, especially, was of a concern, and kind of played throughout that game. As we saw, they were all too all in as far as that lockdown went. And this time they got Sand King, they had Disruptor. Yes, the Static Storm, fairly longer cooldown, of course, being the ultimate itself, but even Kinetic Field and the Glimpse are a nice controlling style of abilities. Also, just team fight is really strong right now on the side of Effect. So Kinguin, as you pointed out, kind of a theme of some gank right now for them. Faceless Void is a hero that would definitely pair really well with Ancient Apparition, as he always does, so perhaps that's something that Kinguin's thinking, and also could be a nice counter tool, counterplay even, to Effect perhaps getting their own kind of initiation right here, but that's something to think about, although I guess maybe he gets a Disruptor with the Glimpse. Pulling out Faceless Void after he jumps in could be annoying. Potentially there. So putting all those thoughts into play, and they're going to end up with a Legion Commander for now with a 3rd pick. I would guess that's going to be more the offlane LC, which still means they need both their mid as well as their safe lane at this point. Effect. All right, going to go the Brewmaster. We don't get to see him too often, but he kind of, makes an appearance here and there, and again, probably expect it more in the off lane, but I like seeing Brewmaster, though. Definitely brings a lot of roam to the table as well.
Yeah, it's going to be great against the LC as well, when he gets the split off. In fact, before the split, you've got the mischance that can come out from him against the LC that's trying to right-click heroes down in the middle of the duel. When he does split, you have the Boulder Toss that's going to be able to keep us stunned up, or any hero stunned up. A little bit more control with the Hurricane as well. Specifically, just focuses on the LC. When she does start that duel, if the Brewmaster's already split, you throw out the Hurricane. Can't right-click anything down. The Weaver does throw a little bit of a wrench in there, or a spanner in the works, though, because he is going to be able to throw that Swarm, the extra minus armor, being able to right-click heroes down himself. The AA is there as well to be able to throw out the Ice Blast on top of the duel. The Nyx Assassin could follow up. So Kinguin, they do have this kind of ganky, roamy lineup. Effect going for a decent amount of control. Sand King with the Burst Strike Disruptor, like you say, the Glimpse, Kinetic Field, the Static Storm, even Venomancer with the Poison over the Venom Scale and the Poison Sting, the amount of slows that come out on that. If you can get a Blink Dagger, Force Staff, anything like that in the middle of the fight, you're going to be looking to be able to stop the escapes. The Weaver probably will be the only hero that's going to be able to get himself away with the Sakuchi and the max move speed. But even then, if you get him with enough damage and his time lapse is down, Venomancer is one of those heroes that it's a lot of fire and forget, I guess, with the Poison Nova. You throw the Venom skill on top of him as well. And Weaver tries to run himself away, and it could be 10 seconds down the line. If he doesn't have the time lapse, he doesn't have the regen, Weaver's going to drop dead anyway to that poison. So, effect, it is a great control lineup, something like the, let's say, the Troll to follow up maybe for the attack speed, to do damage in the team fights. You've got heroes that can follow up, like the Luna, maybe, that's going to be able to bounce those glaives around, show that damage. Juggernaut for the right-click damage, maybe to try and deal with the LC when she's in the duel. You throw that Omni Slash over the top. Something like that, even like a PA that's going to be able to throw out the daggers, just throw out the burst damage to burst the heroes down. So the Venomancer's poison, the Static Storm, the Epicenter from the Sand King just becomes that little bit more deadlier. But there is a lot of choices that Effect can pick up on this team.
Mm-hmm. They finish off with a Pugna here on the side of Team Kinguin. Expect very likely to be more of that middle matchup, maybe against that Venomancer. We'll see what this final pick is from Effect, of course, to determine that. But yeah, you mentioned with the idea of the slipperiness that Kinguin does kind of bring to the table, not only with Weaver or the time-lapse Sakuchi, but Legion Commander's Press the Attack is also going to be a pretty nice ability this game, and I'm sure, heavy reason why they picked up the hero, especially against the likes of Venomancer, even Disruptor, getting rid of the glimpse of time correctly. So the Press the Attack buff is going to be a nice tool to have. The Decrepify of Pugna is kind of interesting to me because it's not really going to be the best defensive tool this game, unlike it was maybe last game to an extent, with all of the magic damage that is coming out. Offensively, however, it will be a nice assistant just for him, simply, of course, and it still is a good tool, but we'll have to be a little bit careful in using that, especially when it comes to the defensive purpose here, if you're the Pugna. But confident with the Pugna pick, and now the final pick for Effect. Again, they really had plenty of time to think about this, almost 2 minutes built up of that reserve. So dipping into it, but might as well use all the time that they're really sure about it. You mentioned a couple of options there, from the Juggernaut to the Troll, just really a lot of physical threat, and I think I like that idea too. I mean, Chaos Knight, no, he is banned. Okay, I was going to say Chaos Knight's been very popular this event, so not surprising to see him banned with that third ban even by Effect themselves, though, so that would not be an option. But where are they going to end up here with that final pick now?
I wouldn't even be surprised to see something like a Slark come out, just to be able to throw, if he does get decrepified, if they try and go on him, can throw out the Dark Pact to purge that off, and even just does, well, never mind, point is relevant now as he go for the Faceless Void, but again, a good hero to fight around, and it's not as obvious this time because they save it to the left, they're not picking it up straight away. But the Venomancer, the Disruptor, Sand King, even the Brewmaster, they've all got synergy with the Faceless Void's Chronosphere. I suppose you are hard pressed to find a hero that doesn't have the synergy, but again, does need to be careful. I think inside the Chronosphere, he needs to pick up the LC, either the LC or the Weaver, but definitely needs to pick up the AA again, because there's that hero that's if the Chronosphere goes up and he's outside of it, he just throws out an Ice Blast, and it's a lot harder for Sidoi and anyone caught inside it from his team to try and do what they're trying to do inside that Chronosphere for the fights. So the positioning needs to be there this time. It needs to be not a lot better, because I think the Chronosphere positioning was there, but it just needs to be more effective, at finding the 3-4-man Chronospheres than last time. They were committing that to try and pick off the Anti-Mage, just so they had time to break the Lincoln Sphere so the LC could go in for the duel. This time, it's all about the team fight. It's all about catching 3 or 4 heroes inside of it and putting the pressure onto Kinguin.
Yeah, I mean, obviously on paper, when it comes to team fight, Effect is no doubt a very, very strong one, especially with that final pick, Faceless Void, for them. But whenever I see a lineup like this, I do always, kind of keep in mind, it's, as great as it is a team fight, it is somewhat reliant on, landing everything together to win those team fights. And it's just that one miss, or maybe you get involved when set of cooldowns aren't ready. It's when it gets a little scarier. And obviously when it comes to pickoff as well, that's where Kinguin's going to shine, with the likes of the Nyx Assassin, the LC to jump in, especially when it gets that Blink Dagger. And then the Ancient Apparition able to assist as well with some Ice Blasts from across the map right here. So, definitely like Effect's lineup a little bit better this game, but still they got some of the openings that they got to be careful with in terms of when it comes to being all in with their fights here. But Venomancer, he will shape up in the middle lane. You got Faceless Void in the safe lane. So no aggressive lane by any means or anything like that going to be coming out. Well, Kinguin just runs up and he actually counters a ward that was placed in the middle lane, and then he walks away. So, all right, nice little 100 gold bounty for the Sand King to start things off and taking away some of that middle vision as well. I don't know if they really saw them place that or that was just simply kind of research like they do it a lot. Let's just figure it's here, and sure enough, he was right. So, good start for the Sand King there. Able to get the counter ward. Oh, look at Kinguin, though. They are going to be going aggressive. They do send Weaver down here at the bottom lane. Right now, Nyx Assassin and the Ancient Apparition are even going to be nearby. So they're going to address the Faceless Void off the bat. And you do got to be careful here because once that Chilling Touch comes out, that's a lot of damage that'll happen quickly from Kinguin.
Yeah, and this is something that Kinguin, again, they know that the Sand King's there now, so they want to be keeping this in close, trying to control this lane. And aggressive tri lane is a really good way to do this because if you keep pressure onto the Faceless Void, you need to keep, or Effect needs to keep at least one support on this lane. Otherwise, Tadoi can be the effect, can feel the effects of the tri lane, you know, this harass coming out, maybe even going for a gank, and it just restricts the roamingness of Effect supports. It does mean, however, that you do have to commit maybe at least one hero, one support down here as well. But the Weaver being able to time-lapse himself away, even get the Sakuchi off, isn't as big a risk, you know, as feeling the effects as it looks. They're going to find the kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That was a lot of back and forth right there. I mean, they're going at it for a while, and eventually sticking around a little bit too long, apparently. So they get the turn kill into Sand King, but clearly the first blood drawn by Effect, of course, because of how long Nyx Assassin was hanging around. Yeah, he was tempting fate there for a while, I'll say that, and maybe expected the support to be a little quicker in terms of when he started dropping low, but that was a good man up from the side of Sand King and others. At least get the kill first. And the tri lane continues. Magic sticks are going to be popular down here, and both cores do have it so far.
But yeah, long point, sure. I should have really gone for this in the first place. That it does take a lot of pressure. Like we saw last match, that the Pugna was a constant target of ganks. Throwing this aggro tri-lane out again, so you need to protect your carry. Sorry, it does take a lot of pressure off the Pugna. I'm not going to say it's going to be 100% pressure free, but Nisha should play with a lot more security in mind than, oh god, I'm going to be ganked every 10 seconds. I'm going to lose a lane. There's nothing that I can do.
Nisha running back in right now on that Pugna, again against the Venomancer. You do have Sand King nearby though, Burl Strike. Venomous Gale already used. Nisha definitely was not expecting this. Will they really be able to capitalize off of it though? TP's coming in from Ancient Apparition. Another Nether Blast goes down, go for a turn. They are going to secure that kill. Venomancer with the cold feet. Not going to be enough for a turn, and now Ancient Apparition. Did he dive a little bit too much? It seems like he did. He even went in and tried to finish the job, but that was a little bit too much life left from Venomancer. So the greed is real, and now 3-1 start in favor of Effect here. That's the Sand King obviously being in the right place at the right time for Effect, and a little bit of greediness from the side of Kinguin coming out in the middle. So nice job by them. And the middle matchup so far, though, 14-6 Pugna against a 12-2 Venomancer. So even with that death, Pugna is keeping the slight edge at this point of the game, at least.
Yeah, and just looking at the top lane as well, it's actually the LC and the Pugna dipping between top farm. And this is going to be great for Patos. Yeah, okay, there's going to be this mischance coming out, but generally, if he stacks up the Moment of Courage or the Overwhelming Odds, going to be able to do a lot of farming and find the items really darn quick.
We found a kill right there as Exotic Deer's barely alive. No more Shikuchi for 5 more seconds, and actually will be beat down by Sadoi. Now King R's running away, so it ends up being a 1-for-1 so far. The Impale hits, though. They want this kill on a Sand King. The cold feet put up. Earl strikes away, however, and it will not proc as a result. And in fact, he will escape. And now Kesor, he's a little bit too deep. They're going to pick up the Bounty Rune. He's running, has that spiked Carapace. Will help a little bit, but the time walk forward, and our Zeke gets revenge on the Disruptor. So, again, the last lap for Effect right there. Reacher going to be picked up, and okay, he's going to take it off, but Ancient Apparition actually got a lot out of that, despite he getting hit at the last second. So We have these clashes here. I mean, it seems like Kinguin's just overstepping a little bit too much and a little too confident with what they have, and kind of backfiring as a result. So, I mean, all three top CS right now is favoring Kinguin as far as the heroes go. But again, hero kill-wise, Effect has the advantage here.
Yeah, and I think Effect have a really good team for dealing with. Usually when this aggro tri lane comes out, you'll see, like, you know, a lot of musical lanes, but Effect are just dealing with it really effectively. Ha ha ha. Because they've got the time walk, you know, like you say, they've got this kinetic field. So it offers a little bit more survivability than the usual tri lane going up against an aggro tri lane. Like I say, you'd see a lot of TPs up to the top lane and then back to the bottom lane and rotations through. But Effect are confident at dealing with this, and they really think it's worth the risk to try and go 3v3 and find these kills on the lane.
That was a really close call in the middle lane, by the way. Venomancer was down at 20 life from that life drain, but barely out of range to finish and just ended up walking away. But obviously we saw the kill the bottom lane happen while that was taking place, so still overall Kinguin kind of slightly coming on top there. But yeah, again, I look back at the CS, and man, I see the Pugna now especially, 40 and 11 compared to that 22 and 2 Venomancer, so nearly doubling his CS. And that shows you that even with the death earlier, Pugna is having a fantastic time. Definitely favored in this matchup. And another 400 gold saved up. Bottle is just about finished for him. Sand King, speaking of that, is going to pick up an Arcane Rune before Pugna can. So nice rune steal at least coming out for the Radiant side. But this is with the top lane. Haven't talked a lot about it yet, but you mentioned earlier about LC and being able to use more of this start with him than maybe the Brewmaster's Impact, who has early phase boots but has yet to move as well. And I would assume does he has a TP on him? No, Brewmaster doesn't have a TP on him yet, but I was going to say, having a TP on Mag here, Primal Split ready to go, maybe look into port to the bottom lane or even the middle lane if it calls for it, and ready to engage in a kill, because that's one of those abilities that ideally you want to try to use sooner than later in the game to get full effect of the hero, really.
Yeah, I think you might save it until towards the team fights. If a team fight does break out, you're going to be able to, you know, he is going to TP him, but he's kind of happy with the amount of farm he's getting in the minute. They look like they're going to be trying to make a move onto Patos as well. So if Kingar can find this with the engagement on Mag, this is going to be Patos in a lot of trouble.
He's going to duel. I mean, Patos, he's the one that might be okay. Magic Wand to go for the... Oh, they already split up with the Primal Split. Yeah, with the TPs coming in, I thought he might have tried to make a play right there. Definitely would have been risky, so he decides to run instead. Ancient Apparition is now being ran down by the Primal Split. 2 more seconds, though. They're going to come back together on the Earth one. It's close enough for the auto attack, though, and even gets a crit out of that. But now he's pretty deep. Here comes that dual Burrow Strike on through. And actually, LC is the one that has to be careful about surviving. He will go down. At least he didn't give up a victory. But now Exotic Deer is here. The Swarm goes up, and Mag is continuing to have to survive and run away. King R in the back lines is there to disrupt as well. Mag's just a little bit too fast with those phase boots. And, of course, Weaver only the brown boots that he has. Shikuchi, a couple of more auto attacks. He will get it. And he finishes the job at least. So a little bit of positive there for Kinguin to finish that fight. And now King R, think he should be good as far as making it out. Yeah, he's good. Ooh, that was an interesting fight, though, at the top lane all the way into those trees. But Weaver does end up with the kill at least.
I mean, yeah, he does get the kill, but you drag 4 heroes up onto this top lane, you create space for the Faceless Void, the LC doesn't get the duel off, you know, you find a kill or 2 yourself. So, yeah, okay, Brewmaster went down, but they found 2 kills, they found space for the Faceless Void, and now the lanes have swapped. There's going to be a dead Venomancer in the mid lane, though, as the life drain comes out from Nisha, so the response wasn't there. But yeah, Mag's happy with that, and now he's just going to run himself in the mid lane and look for what he can, maybe get the clap off, this wave up, and then just start moving himself around the map. And I think this is the big thing that he is going to be waiting towards. When LC wants to use these dual opportunities, you are then going to start seeing the split coming out with the, like I say, the Hurricane, the Boulder Toss as well, the stuns, the mischance, the burn coming out from the Fire Spirit, and it's a really effective hero with that ultimate just up against Patos.
It is, but man, this Pugna is also a very effective hero in general, and he is already level 10. He's the first one in the game to hit that mark, and by far, wow, he's level 10. Level 7 is next in line on the Venomancer, and then Brewmaster and Weaver. I mean, you see all these other heroes, but it's pretty insane, actually, how far ahead this Pugna is. I was not expecting that. I mean, you see Venomancer just hitting level 8 right there, but the fact he's 2+ levels ahead of anyone else in this game at 9.5 minutes is really just absurd. But that means Pugna now is, being level 10 as his first talent, of course, but on top of that, level 4 Nether Blast to go with that level 4 Decrepify. So whoever he catches is going to melt, but on top of that, the tower push is very effective. In fact, one more Nether Blast. This is a tower kill right here. As soon as this fortification wears off, but in fact, they are going to respond to it. They're not going to let him get it for free. And in fact, they will box him out and maybe go for it's actually not in deny range just yet. It's 8 life away. But being in the deny range, they pull him in. Here we go. This would be a big kill. We just talked about how far ahead Nisha is at this point. Will it be enough damage? The Primal Split, everything being used. Chronosphere in the backlands here going off right from Sidoi. Trying to respond right here as Patos and Elisa ran in. Press the attack, trying to save him now. Back over to Pugna. Stunned through with the Burrow Strike. The Primal Split still doing work, and they finally kill off the Pugna indeed. And now Legion Commander, he's locked down nearby. Coming back together on the Brewmaster. They beat him down Kinetic Field, keeping him in place. Double kill for Sidoi on the Faceless Void. All right. It got a little shaky there for a second, but Faceless Void even rotating over. And we see the end result in favor of Effect there.
Yeah, that was a clutch Chronosphere, because the LC as well as the AA were rotating up around this way. Disruptor got caught out there, and he was pretty much 100% dead to a duel if Sidoi didn't get that Chronosphere off. Caught the LC just on the edge of it, so she couldn't get the duel. You see the Disruptor heal up with the salve, come back into the fight, try and do whatever he can, and completely turn that fight around.
What was that? Oh, that was in the jungle. Wow. That was an epicenter kill from SkinCoin. I thought it was at the bottom lane for a second, but no. I just after going to his dead body right there, that was actually in the jungle. Caught by SkinCoin, middle lane. And catching Pugna sucked the life away from Brewmaster. Again with that Decrepify, Nether Blast. It's just so much damage. Even the Brewmaster can't tank through it. Well, we see that if those missed chances don't really affect him right there. So nice turn kill. But yeah, losing Weaver, who did just get his hand of Midas, by the way, as he uses it for the first time right there after shortly getting it. So interesting choice from the Weaver. It's definitely an item that means he wants to still just continue to farm despite this game being very active with how it's going, as they still a massive stack does Kinguin. But they actually want to make a fight happen here. Again, Weaver's not here. The Glimpse back will pull away Pugna, but he got a lot of damage out before. Kinetic Field gonna keep them zoned out though. Nyx Assassin, will he go for the open? The Impale, yes, he lands it. Beautiful job from Castle right there. However, it might come at a cost. He does have Spike Carapace. Press the attack, open him a little bit as well. Poison Nova activated from Venomancer. The burst damage out with another blast of victory. Gets it off for Patos. And King Ard stuns on 2 with the Burrow Strike. They're going for a Legion Commander now as Mag rotates in. Thunderclap will help with that. The life drain though. You look at how much Brewmaster's dying right here to Decrepify, and he goes down. The Nether Blast on King Ard as he's having to walk away now. He uses his own Decrepify once again. Stuns back in. He takes out the Nyx Assassin, but finally finished off by Nisha. Just a crazy clash of back and forth at the bottom lane, and we are not even done just yet, as that is Faceless Void TPing in with the Mask of Madness and Chronosphere. Will he dare go for it? Yes, he will. He has some more TPs coming in. Ancient Apparition is nearby. Pugna has life drain, Decrepifies himself, going for the TP, and he should be good. Nope, he got glimpsed back at the last second. Oh no, he's brought back the life drain, though. He's going for the turn kill and after 9, and that might be enough damage. It is enough damage. Are you kidding me? What a play from Pugna. Another Decrepify. How is this guy still alive? Unbelievable. Nyx Assassin coming in. That's a big bash, though. That might secure the kill when it's all said and done. The Thunder Strike, Nisha, the Kinetic Field, the Thunder Strike damage. He has another sap coming in 7 seconds. Decrepify, though, he's going back in, and he's actually going to live as Weaver joins the party. And now Sidoi with another time lock in 1 second. He'll need to use it here. He barely gets it off in time. The fight, I think, is finally going to finish, and it's going to finish with another duel. Oh no, SkinCoin. He escapes with a Sandstorm, and yes, that will be the end of it. Wow, I am so shocked by the end there, especially. But that fight just lasted a good 2+ minutes, it feels like.
Yeah, what was that, like 7, 8 kills each? Kinguin, I think Kinguin won? I kind of lost track, you know, but yeah, Kinguin being able to keep the...
under attack.
I can't even tell you. My breakdown comes down to the Pugna got out alive, which is good. They got the duels off, which is good. They wasted the Chronosphere. They even wasted the Venomancer as well, that Poison Nova. Really effective. The Nyx Assassin, as soon as he gets poisoned by the Venomancer, you just throw out that Spike Carapace, and there's nothing that the Venomancer can do about it. So, Yeah, good pickup. It even looks like they get the Sand King on the top lane as well, chased down by Exotic Deer. He gets the Burrow Strike off the TP away as well. It is going to be just in time.
That was somehow an escape. Yeah, now Max, he's in stump trouble still. Does have phase boots. Gonna use him again. Meanwhile, guess what? Pugner's just solo in this team. I mean, he's a raid boss, really. Again, he's level 14. The next closest level 10 on multiple heroes. He has a 4-level advantage at 14.5 minutes into this game. Just absolutely absurd. And he's going to TP out before they can catch him. No, they do glimpse him. We saw what happened last time, though. You know what? I would be so scared about going on to him like this. They are going to do it, though, and they get the kill. Finally, they take out the raid boss that is Pugna. And that's a 620-plus bounty gold. Sand King actually gets credit for it off to the side. So, whew, I mean, that has to feel good for effect. And that's a pretty important kill, to say the least, there. But
yeah, that was a great pick-off. What was the gold he actually gave out? 626 gold for the Sand King. Going to be going towards... In fact, has he got anything coming out on the career? It's going to be the Blink Dagger for Kinguin now. So that is going to be a really effective power spike for the Sand King once that comes up from the career. Just something to note in the last fight as well. While that was all going on for the minute and 30 seconds it was going, Weaver pushes down a tier 1 tower on the top lane, continues pushing, puts... You know, the creep wave farms that up a few times. Didn't move on to the tier 2 tower because he TP'd himself in just to look for the cleanup on the Faceless Void. Faceless Void did get himself away, but that was a good minute and a half that the Weaver was just free farming with a Hand of Midas. I think probably got that off once, maybe even twice. Going to be able to finish off the Maelstrom now. So yeah, again, Kinguin using this distract and push-pull game plan really effectively. Yes, okay, they lost themselves, what, 4 or 5 heroes, maybe even 6, but they found the kills playing 4 versus 5, and to great effect using this game plan. Weaver's going to be able to get the Maelstrom, like I say. The LC found a duel, looked to come in and get a second one, you know, but got the Blink Dagger off it as well, which is going to be great for looking for pickoffs. Lisa H, level 7 now. Katsuo comes in, he's got level 8, so it was a decent fight for Kinguin. And yeah, it was a decent fight for effect, but I think Kinguin just started to edge it out though.
Yeah, I kind of go back to that Weaver pickup, and as I brought up at the time, as they do find Faceless Void here, by the way, dual Ice Blast, that's a kill. So winner included for Patos, and they slow down Faceless Void even that much more, who was the top farmer on his team currently. Might still be even after that, but it's obviously not what you want to be having if you are effect right here. But yeah, the choice to go Hand of Midas, again, goes without saying, it's a greedy one, especially with how active this game has proven to be. Almost 30 hero kills at 15, 16 minutes here, averaging 2 kills per minute. But the fact that his team is still winning fights around him, the fact that this Pugna is insanely farmed around him, I think is what ultimately is making it a great choice. And in fact, now the Maelstrom is now finished as well for the Weaver. Meanwhile, Nyx Assassin, he gets caught. I don't know if that was a glimpse back or what. Oh, the Ice Blast, it might actually kill a Disruptor, it will. So good job from Elisa right there, landing that Ice Blast. And making the turn happen, but you mentioned the Blink Dagger being delivered to Sand King. I'd assume perhaps that had to do with that kill right there. Venomancer middle lane to Crepify. Oh, he just duels him up to allow for Nisha to just insanely burst him down and get the victory shortly after. Nisha is going to have a Blink Dagger now. He has 1,800 gold saved up. He already has Aether Lens, which, again, is really insane reach, and especially once he gets to level 20, as he's level 15 here. But even without that, the Aether Lens alone, the reach that he has, now the fact he's going to be able to blink in and assist right away with this Legion Commander, get on top of people. I mean, it's like, how do you deal with this Pugna if you're effect? You really, there is no obvious answer. You kind of just have to accept it almost at this point and hope that he just doesn't continue to get even crazier out of control.
No, at this point, you need to look towards a maybe a Lincoln Sphere on the Faceless Void, or, you know, the Brewmaster maybe. Venomancer wants to be building towards that 4 staff, but you need to be able to get some sort of, even a silence, or some way just to disrupt this life drain that's coming out, because it's doing them a world of hurt, and it's something they can't deal with easily unless you can get up in his face and get the stun off. But if you get up in the face, then you've got to deal with the Ice Blast, you've got to deal with the Nyx Assassin. They are playing not for Protect 1, but they are putting a lot of bodyguards onto the Pugna and just saying, come at us, what are you going to do?
Pugna going the Dagon, and I love that. I mean, when you're this far ahead especially, and Dagon on Pugna is really good. We'll see a lot of Pugnas go the Ags route, of course, and become that glorified support, as I like to suggest. But when you have this kind of a lead and you're this much tempo, and you're fighting this much, again, being able to just burst literally anyone down in this game at will seems like a pretty good idea. So I think the idea of the Dagon makes a lot of sense from Pugna here. And he's trying to kill off this middle tower, by the way. Another blast. Oh, nice vulnerability. And they're baiting them out. Static Storm even coming out. Going to lock in Pugna. Chronosphere on top of it. They really want him dead. And damn it, they'll get it. So understandable. They blow quite a bit on that. Elise off to the side, though. Ice Blast lands. Here comes Exotic Deer to try to clean up. Maybe the Faceless Void. Yep, they'll finish him off. And he actually time-lapse backwards to get out of there before they can turn bottom lane. They're chasing down Venomancer meanwhile. And that will be a dual victory for the LC to top it all off. So, big picture, I mean, losing Pugna and AA, but they get Faceless and Veno and a dual victory, and they do get the Tier 2 tower killed in the middle lane. So, Pugna's slowing down a little bit right here, but I think if you're Kinguin, you're still overall, pretty pleased with that exchange that just took place there.
Yeah, getting the duel off. It was actually a really good play by the Faceless Void. Paytos couldn't really risk the duel in the middle of 4 heroes, so Faceless Void was able to get the Chronosphere off, and that completely blocks Paytos off for the rest from effect. Forces him to move down to the bottom lane, finds the kill onto the Venomancer, but it just makes sure that effect gets something out of the fight. They can't protect, Kinguin can't protect Nisha. Nisha is just left to his own fate, I guess you'd call it, and effect do find the pick off worth... Let's take a look. What? Yeah, 355 gold. Sidoi does get picked off on the end of that, so it's not the greatest runaway after effect to finish off that fight, but it was something,
That it was, and there's more something here. In fact, duel up on a Sand King nearby. That's going to be a victory, maybe? Okay, it won't be a victory, actually, and he will stay alive. Nyx Assassin, meanwhile, TP's out, but Pugna is just sapping everyone's life away in the midst of all this happening. Another blast will miss to do a Burl Strike, but they're still going. Another Decrepify, and that's an overwhelming ops to finish the job there. And it just slowly but surely continued to happen. I mean, it started with the Brewmaster there, then we see 4 heroes all of a sudden dead, and Faceless Void just like, team, what are you guys doing? As he's pushing out top lane, trying to finish his own Diffusal Blade, which, again, speaking of Decrepify, is of course great, but honestly, the way that he's using Decrepify this game, it doesn't matter. Diffusal won't do anything because it's not like he's using it defensively. He's using it offensively at this point, especially to just burst people down. So, I mean, Diffusal I still think is a decent pickup, but man, it's definitely not going to be the great answer that it sometimes is against a Pugna here.
No. Yeah, and speaking of defensively, he throws it out on anyone that's being dueled. LC takes a seat, crosses her legs, gets out a book, and just reads while this duel's going on, because the Pugna's doing most of the work for this. And one item that you usually see picked up to deal with the LC is the Ghost Scepter, but Pugna would absolutely love that, because it's doing his work for him. He comes and says, great, thank you very much, that's an extra kill that, I don't need to put the Grapify towards. So, effect knocked off balance as far as items go, because they need to look for another defensive item, and that's why I suggested, going towards that Lincoln Sphere, just to try and bait out the duel. Because any other way that you try and deal with it, there's going to be a counter. You've got the Weaver that's got the minus arm and the right clicks, the Pugna that can do the magic damage. You've got the Ice Blast there as well, the Nyx Assassin, that if you go for something that's going to, I don't know, he's got the Spike Carapace to deal with any offensive items that come out. So there's really no good way for effect to try and avoid these duels. It's only really the Chronosphere that's doing the work at the minute.
Well, we see there, it does get a kill on a Waver. They turn kill on a Venomancer, a very under-farmed Venomancer, we'll say. Primal split up, though, from Brewmaster, and they definitely want more of a fight. Nyx Assassin, he's walking off to the left. They're pretty spread out as this dire side. In fact, Ancient Apparition's now going to be caught out in a bad spot, and he's going to be the victim. Back here, though, Disruptor. Opened up from Kassor. He had caught a couple, including one of the Brewlings. They catch Disruptor with a duel, and the miss is coming out, though. That'll keep from getting the victory, at least. They do finish the job in the end, but a minor win there if you're effect. Of course, they got Brewmaster through it, too. And they'll fall back middle and continue to push more. Pugna, Dagon just about finished now. And, oh, by the way, he's level 19. I just continue to be impressed by the levels of Pugna alone. I mean, so now level 3 life drain. that he has. He's getting to that level 20 talent, which is, as I mentioned, 150 more cast range on top of the 220 that he's already getting from the Aether Lens. It's just insane how far he can be away and still life drain people, let alone zap people now with the Dagon. And we might see it come into play quickly here. Oh, Faceless Void. That was a close call for him. Almost getting caught out, but he gets away beforehand, so he'll be fine for now. But yeah, the other unfortunate thing for Effect, though, and it's just... Oh, who did they get there? That was Disruptor. Venomancer really just has had zero impact on this game. He has a 4-staff. Literally, that's all he has, because Hanamize is just that farming tool. As far as effective item in these fights, it's just a 4-staff, and now 23.5 minutes in. This was a mid-Venomancer. It's been a rough game for him. And they're going
they're making a move onto Sadoi. The duel not going to be used to time walk away as well, so Faceless Void going to be able to get himself out of there. But yeah, and this is the effect of the Pugner up against the Venomancer, because he's got the Chronosphere going to be coming out now. Actually, they want to make a move onto the LC. Are they going to be able to find a kill though? Kinguin comes through with the Burrow Strike. The Ice Blast comes through from the back. And this is just Kinguin playing silly, but I guess you'd call it the blink away from Nisha. But again, yeah, this is the effect of the Pugner on a mid Venomancer. There's no real great way to deal with this, because you have to come in close. If you come in close, you're able to just throw out these Nether Blasts with the Decrepify, do a lot of burst damage. You know, the Venomancer isn't the hero with the biggest health pool, the biggest strength growth in the world. He's only got 1200 health now, sitting at level 14. That's really not much. So yeah, again, he did need a little bit of help, and with the distraction of the tri-lane as well, Nisha just took advantage and really put the pressure onto the Venomancer, like you say, shutting him down and keeping him on the back foot. As far as the net worth goes, he's got 7.5k compared to the 12k of Nisha. And Nisha is just ruling the map.
Exotic Deer on this game, I will say, not to his fault, but Weaver's almost felt like unnecessary this game. He's kind of just been the objective pusher. As I say this again, he's going to be jumped. Nope, never mind. They're the ones doing the jumping. Sand King's easily going down the Burrow Strike. Not in time. I mean, Dagon's now just coming off cooldown as well. For Pugna, it is level 1, level 2 is being delivered. But yeah, Weaver's just been taking care of objectives, getting more farm, pretty much securing almost like the safety net for, all right, Pugna's the one dominating the game right now, but if this game happens to continue on for another 20 minutes or so, you know, get into that mid to late game stage, then they'll have that massive threat, even at that point, in what would be a Weaver that has plenty of farm. So as much as I want to, you know, keep hope alive here for Effect, it just really, there's nothing that's standing out that's like, okay, well, at least they got this going for them. The biggest thing continues to be, team fight-wise, they're great in. They have a Chronosphere set up for an Epicenter, which we really haven't even seen yet, on top of a Poison Nova, on top of a Static Storm, yada, yada. You know, you understand how that works, but it's about finding them together. And I think Kinguin's almost making a point never really to be together. They're kind of just roaming in different spots. Weaver's just, like I said, almost been doing his own thing, which usually you might be against, but in this case it makes sense. Now, as I say, that's a big fight does clash right here. Pugna is gone on the backlines. Pugna is going to end up falling, so he's there for 75 seconds. That's a Chronosphere. It catches Legion Commander. Weaver now, in the midst of this fight, is really going to be able to do enough by himself, though. He takes out Disruptor. He has a time-lapse. He can't get it off, though, and he ties too. And, well, if you're Effect, you'll take it. They just kind of deliver the fight to them.
Yeah, and Effect also almost using bait in this mid lane, you know, hoping that someone's going to jump in. I don't think they were expecting 4 kills being picked up, though. You know, they did lose 2, so it's not the worst thing in the world from Kinguin, but Effect picked up 4 heroes. Pugna's down now for the next 40 seconds. The LC didn't get a duel completed. I do believe that the Chronosphere, the LC was dealt with before the duel finished, so it didn't get the damage, and now it means that Effect are going to be able to find at least some push. Whether they find an objective off the back of this is Mag's going to be suffering with an Ice Blast in the mid lane. Cat Sword there as well, and it looks like Mag is going to go down. But they should have been, you know, focused as... There's this topic in Dota 2 where it doesn't matter if you have 50 health left. If you have 4 heroes down on the enemy team, group up as 5, push them up. Group up as 3, if that's all you have. Take the mid tier 1 tower, get that little bit of bonus gold, then back yourselves off. And Effect, Every time they win a team fight, yes, they are on the back foot, but they don't seem concerned about taking an objective. They just go back to this farming, trying to look for the gold, trying to look for the items, where if you take a tier 1 tower, it might not be as much gold as you're farming up, but you're taking that little bit of map control away from Kinguin, and that's something I think Effect needs to look towards is, okay, we sacrifice 300 gold throughout the team, but they pick up a tier 1 tower, they pick up an objective, they make it harder for Kinguin to roam around the map. They maybe get themselves some vision down. You know, they make it harder for Kinguin to do what they're doing. And at this point, Effect, they're not doing any of that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I definitely agree, but I think the mentality for Effect, that's kind of the downside, though, if they're drafted at the same time. It's they explode with everything in a team fight. They use all their cooldowns like they did there, which is why they won it as decisively. But then they don't have that to then push that objective, and ideally they're still dead while you're pushing. Yeah, they probably could have grouped up and at least got the tier 1 tower before enough response happened, but that's what kind of makes us scary for Effect, though. They need to use everything to actually win these fights, and then by the time they want to push some objectives, the other heroes are kind of resurrected anyways and good to defend. So it really continues to be a tight spot for them. They are going to get a glimpse back here on the Nyx Assassin and force something at least. It's taken a while to kill him, but they finally will. Ice Blast comes through, hits multiple heroes. But now Ancient Apparition goes the other way, and oh, Platzos, he finds Faceless Void. Sadoi thought he was being sneaky where he was. Not sneaky enough, and yeah, even with the Decrep you mentioned, LC kind of just stands there while then the burst happens from Pugna, so that's a quick kill. Elisa, he may end up going down, actually, so they find Ancient Apparition. So far, I mean, numbers-wise, it's looking okay for the Radiant team. Where's Weaver during all this? Weaver's kind of just been on the outline, not doing a whole lot. He is going to run it now, but again, Weaver frankly hasn't been doing much this game. I go back to that, and is he going to really die again? Time lapse? He does get it off, so he's going to go get away. Shikuchi and Pugna, he comes back in and clean up now. Venomancer, so yeah, I mean, kind of an awkward finish there, but something for Effect once again, but I don't know. It does seem like Weaver this game is having trouble doing a lot, despite his farm.
Yeah, effectively he's playing the position. I know he was the focus of the aggro tri lane, but he's effectively playing that position 3. Created this false carry potential, so the LC could find the farm on the top lane, pretty much undisturbed. But going back to that fight, it was really good. Okay, they lose the Nyx Assassin, but then you get the AA coming up. He drags 3 heroes this way, which means it opens up then for Sadoi to be picked off over in the to the left of the mid lane from the 3 heroes rotating in from the side of Kinguin. And then these heroes, the Effect heroes, need to rush back to the mid lane. And Kinguin are splitting up, divide and conquer really effectively. Yes, they lost 3 heroes to the 2 of Effect, but if an Effect had kept group up and Kinguin move up in 4 to try and take this fight, like you say, they've got the Chronosphere, they've got the Epicenter, they've got the Poison Nova, Static Storm, they've got the Split. So Effect are a lot more devastating when Kinguin group up as 5. And the fact that Kinguin are playing these distractions, pulling heroes away so they can find the pickoffs, it's really not keeping them in the game because obviously they are in the lead, but it's making sure that they keep control of these team fights, they keep control of the tempo of the team fights. And even with the Weaver not being as effective as he could be, there's still 4 other heroes that are being great and just really executing these roles in the team fights.
BKB is going to be a very good tool this game for Kinguin, and I kind of look at a Weaver and I wonder if that's what he is going to be going for. But I know Pugna's definitely, well, he was going for one. Never mind. Now he's going to Lincoln's, actually. So much for that idea. But yeah, again, you look at the big team fight that they won. The biggest thing was that they caught Pugna in that Static Storm Kinetic Field, as well as the Burrow Strike. But if he has some BKB, that really shouldn't happen. So I'm actually a little bit surprised he's going to be choosing to go to Lincoln's instead. But meanwhile, bring back on LC. LC going to maybe go for some kind of turn. BKB's popped by Sadoi. Those counterattacks dealing plenty, though. But it is not enough in the end to get the turn kill. I mean, he was doing that for a while. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Exotic Deer does take out the tier 3 tower. And so we get some kind of an objective out of that. Was really 4 heroes that were up there to make that kill happen. But Kinguin, you got to be careful leaving too many openings here for them to make these plays. But yeah, going back to Pugna and even the Weaver, do you feel the same, or do you think BKB is not as necessary?
I think it's a good item. I think it stops Pugna unless there's a Chronosphere being disrupted when he's throwing out the damage using his life drain. But honestly, I think he's so far ahead, it doesn't really matter what item he goes for at the minute. Because unless he commit a Chronosphere towards the Pugna, or again, like you see, gets caught out in the Static Storm Kinetic Field, which affect our committing to him, and then Kinguin are making sure they get the space around the Pugna so it doesn't affect anyone else. It really doesn't matter, because Pugna is either going to be extremely effective in the team fights, or he's going to be the focus, and the rest of Kinguin are going to be effective in the team fights. So, yeah, again, good item. You can swap it out for the Lincoln Sphere, like you say, he's swapping back and forth at the minute. But I don't really think it matters. A long-winded way of saying I don't really think it matters what Nisha goes for at the minute between the Lincoln Sphere and the BKB.
Yeah, that's fine. And yeah, as you mentioned, he is kind of swapping out. So trying to decide right here what really does make the most sense. So Weaver's the one we really just don't know what he's thinking just yet. Again, almost 5,000 gold saved up, and there we go. He gives us an idea at least. I have Scotty is perhaps going to be a direction, and it's kind of an in-between where it's a mix of survivability, but, well, actually, he probably clicks a BKB as I say that. So now he has a BKB, and so sure enough, that will be coming for the Weaver. So it seems like they may have came to that consensus that, yeah, BKB is going to be a strong item here. They're doing a Roshan, by the way, on effects side, and they're going to get it, so that is an Aegis pickup onto the Faceless. And I don't think there was Cheese yet, so yeah, that was the first Roshan kill this game. But you see what Kinguin's doing in the bottom lane. In fact, duel up on a Sand King. Sand King's going to go down because of that. He does have a buyback, 75 seconds. Nisha, meanwhile, he's dropping in the midst of this. He's going to be brought back in. He has a life drain, but he can't get it off. Actually, the bash procs are too much, and Nisha's dead all of a sudden. Now Patos, he's going to regret overextending as much as he did. BKB saving him a little bit, but it's not going to save him in the long run. Press the attack. That's not going to work. Kinguin, it's almost like they're playing like they already have the victory, and frankly, they do not. So I really hope for their sake they kind of calm it down a little bit, because that was way too greedy and way too just scattered of a fight. They're kind of just so far spread out that it's almost like they're giving effect some easy kills here because of their decision making.
Yeah, the Decrepify working against the LC there, because there was no real follow-up on the Sand King. So the LC hangs around a little bit longer before she can effectively find that kill. Just puts her in a position where she's not going to be saved if the rest of the team go on them, as Sand King up on the top shrine is going to die. But yeah, the LC gets too far forward that she's committed to dying now. There's no way that Kinguin are going to be able to save them. And the Pugna, the Weaver, start focusing on these racks while the AA and the Nyx Assassin are running themselves away. So maybe a little bit of miscommunication there. Maybe a little bit of tunnel vision coming out from the Pugna as well as the Weaver. So Kinguin do need to calm it down. Just communicate a little bit more and say, you know, scream throughout the team. If two heroes are backing off, you don't want two heroes hanging around that racks looking for potentially taking those down when there's 5 heroes with effect, like you say, hanging around there looking for the kills.
Weaver's just completely undecided as far as where he wants to go, because, okay, he rebought the BKB, because he bought BKB going into all that, and he sold it, and then he just rebought it again, and now it's going to be delivered. So figuring if he wasn't going to get it right there, I might as well sell it, but he gets it now, and now even has a butterfly queued up. So a little bit undecided as far as what direction you want to go in. But, yeah, I think the butterfly is also kind of the mix of the guy Scotty idea, where it needs an item that sure will maybe tank him up and make it a little more difficult to kill. But they really need to have him start dealing damage. And that was going to be my concern of his build initially. And I think the butterfly is that nice compromise in terms of going for what could eventually be a final item of sorts for him. Of course, the Mjolnir will be nice to advance on it and as well. But we are getting to that point where that quote-unquote safety net of the Weaver, just farming this whole game, ideally should start to come into play now at this point. But it really is a strange feeling how this game went from just what looking like Kinguin was just going to just completely run over effect to now it's not feeling like that anymore. 37 minutes right here. I mean, Pugna is starting to taper off a bit, and we're seeing that, of course, coming from the idea that he's starting to get caught more and more and initiated on more and more before he can really react. BKB is an item that will help with that, and he has 2,700 gold now. So for their sake, ideally he has that before another fight. Like, if I'm Kinguin right now, I'm farming that item on Pugna before pushing. But as I say this, they're pushing right now. So the last thing you want is to get involved in a fight right before he has that item finished and it go negative. So we'll see, but I'm a little concerned for Kinguin if they really try to force the issue here before they finish that item.
Well, I mean, they're not going to use the fortification. I think Kinguin commit, force effect back, because what you can do if you can bait out 2 or 3 TPs for the defense, you TP yourself back to the tier 3, and you look for any exit kills you can find. But it means that you have to do that as 5. The Venomancer, Kinga TPing themselves back now. If Kinguin either commit to the racks or commit to a fight up on the top lane, they should be able to find objectives.
Bottom lane, fight breaking out here. Nyx goes in with the impale. LC is really deep. He's going to set up a duel on Venomancer. Got the poison nova off, but minimal heroes. Is he going to get the victory even? No, he gets bashed up and actually gives a winner to the Venomancer. And now they catch Pugna. He's not in the Chronosphere. He's able to TP out, actually. Oh, he's going to be glimpsed right back in, though, to the Chronosphere. So now Nisha has to fight this. Meanwhile, they're beating on Exotic Deer. He'll manage to make it out with the time lapse. And Ishikuchi's quickly away. But again, you see Kinguin's completely on their back foot after that initial firepower. But they've lost it. There's the zap coming out to take out the Aegis, at least, from the Faceless Voice. Done in on Pugna. A little too deep, though. Now here comes that return firepower. They used everything up front. Now they don't have that anymore, and Kinguin knows it. So this response is going to ultimately end up working as they pick off the Sand King as well, who are staying dead, both him and the Venomancer, for the time being. So they're rotating to mid now. Will they keep this up here? Again, no Chronosphere. I think you do. No Static Storm, nothing. No fighting tools here for effect.
Yeah, no, 100%. You just keep committing. You look for whatever you can find. And that could have been a really horrendous fight because, again, you've got the Pugna, you've got the Nyx Assassin, moving up to the, away from the tier 3 towers, the racks, the high ground of effect. Meanwhile, LC jumps in for the kill. She does get taken down, but Kinguin do manage to turn this fight around. And it looks like they want to go even further as effect, trying to commit to this, trying to find whatever pickoffs they can to try and turn this game into their favor. But it looks like with all 5 heroes up from the side of Kinguin, this could even be mega creeps.
And that should do it right there, honestly. That Ice Blast, no buyback on Faceless Void now. It managed to hit. I was wondering if they're going to get that kill, and they do it. And that actually should be it. But it really should. This game was so close to being turned in that fight right there, because the biggest thing was that Pugna did not get caught by the Chronosphere. And he kind of got panicked right there. Now, instead they went for Weaver, and he just barely got the time lapse off in time. So it's just a mix of that as well as not catching Pugna. It could have definitely been different if Effect was able to capitalize off of that situation. But they just weren't. Kinguin hangs on, and they do have the victory as the GGs are coming out. So we'll be Kinguin going home with their share of the $7,500. And unfortunately for Effect, that does mean going with nothing as far as the prize pool is concerned. So it's got to sting a little bit, I'm sure, understandably. But Kinguin, definitely the deserving team here in this series. But, man, it was almost getting frustrating at points watching there. As the tides were shifting a little bit, it felt like, towards Effect. But never really were able to have it all come together to complete a comeback of sorts here, Rob. But that's game 2 in the books, and thus the series.
Yeah, Effect just, again, making sure they didn't save those buybacks. They bought out every single fight. So when they lost hard. That last fight could have potentially been the game changer. But Kinguin were just so, after the initial jumper in from the LC, were just so organized at trying to save, protect, find the pickoffs with the Nyx, the Pugna. And it just didn't work in the favor of Effect. Again, could have gone either way, but because it went Kinguin's way, it was the end of the game. So unfortunately, that's kind of where Effect fell down. Maybe, if they did have the buybacks, they could have maybe found exit kills, come back, turn the tide. But they decided to buy out, which teams do at the minute. They buy out because they think this one extra item is going to be the game changer between the fights instead of the buybacks. So it didn't work this time, but hopefully next time they have better luck with it.
That's the idea. So Effect going to come up short here. Kinguin, though, again, feeling good about taking home their share at least of what was the ultimate prize pool here for these qualifiers of the European and CIS regions. So congratulations one more time to them as they finish 3rd place in the tournament, and thus we are at a conclusion here for the event as a whole. So again, ultimately we saw on Saturday, Empire and Hellraisers getting first and second. Hellraiser is actually first technically, again, taking home the bigger share of the prize pool as a result of that. But also both of those teams qualifying for the land portion even of what is the SkinCoin WCA tournament. So congratulations again to them especially. But that is going to be our coverage wrapping up these last couple of weeks. It's been a lot of fun, guys. Some great matches. Definitely a lot of back and forth. A lot of swings in these games. I'll say that. It wasn't the prettiest Dota at times, but damn was it entertaining, if anything, because of that. So props to all the teams. Shout out to all the teams, and hopefully you guys enjoyed our coverage here at Beyond the Summit of this event as a whole. We are going to be wrapping up, though. RobnRoll, want to give you the chance, as first off, thank you for joining me for today as a co-caster. Any shout-outs, any final words from yourself?
Again, it was a fun, well, 2 matches. Good to jump back into this as well. So thanks for having me on. If anyone wants to follow me at Ball, because, you know, that might be a possibility. I don't know what you'd be thinking to do it, but you can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, at RobnrollGaming. Hopefully, again, I'll be jumping back into casting a lot more, even if it's just on my own channel, a lot.
All right, well, I think I might have lost him there. Are you back?
Am I back?
Okay, yeah. you cut out there. You're about to mention your Twitch channel, I think.
All right, yeah. So Twitch and Twitter at RobnrollGaming. If you want to hear more of me, again, trying to cast a lot more frequently. Thanks for having me on to cast onto these, what was a 2-match series, and I really enjoyed it. So thanks a lot.
Appreciate it once again, and definitely check him out, guys. So again, our coverage though for today, wrapping up. That was BreakyCPK, joined by RobnRoll here. One more time, if you type !SkinCoin in chat, you can get information on the giveaway that we're still doing. Also, if you go to skincoin.org, you can check out the latest cryptocurrency on the esports market, and you can trade in your favorite Dota 2 and even CSGO skins. Again, that is skincoin.org. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you next time on more coverage.